Ever wondered what it's like to work in the apparel and fashion industry in Chicago? Listen in as we chat with experts across a variety of roles and get insight into their jobs and career paths.
My name is Dana Todd, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Balodana. Balodana is something unique in the garment industry and the fashion industry. We serve two audiences. We have a business for women, any women in the United States, to buy custom-made clothes from makers who specialize in made-to-measure clothing. Our new line, which is the Custom Fashion Lab, provides the same level of highly personalized supply chain, but we're doing it for other brands now to allow them to be more size inclusive and to offer their styles on a made-to-measure basis. I've always loved fashion, and I was not a person who ever saw myself in the industry side of it, though. I had no interest in being a designer or sewing anything. I literally couldn't even sew on a button. But I've always loved fashion. I've always appreciated it as something that was very important to my career, honestly. I remember being 26, 27 years old, just starting out in corporate, and I invested at the time in suits. Like, even though I was in San Diego in high tech, I was an executive and I wanted to look like a vice president, and so I dressed the part and I wore very formal business clothing all the time, even though I had this crazy colored hair at the time. And sure enough, I became vice president by 30, and clothes matter, and I realized how much they matter. And so getting into the industry side of it, though, was a rather odd series of events that led me to try to figure out what it would take to make something to fit my body better, because my body changed when I was in my 40s and 50s. I needed clothes that fit, but I needed to have good personality, good quality, and I couldn't find anything at retail. So I started researching what that would take to actually have something custom made for me, just a simple white blouse. And what I found, this is a person, by the way, I'm coming into this with 20 plus years of technology background. When I looked at what goes into making a garment, I saw technology, or the lack thereof. And so when I decided to make my foray into fashion, I brought my own set of skills to it, which is the technology and the people skills and trying to put systems together to make made-to-measure more efficient and more affordable. When I started digging into the underlying systemic issues in fashion, I was blown away by the inefficiency and the literal cruelty that existed within that system. It astonished me. It made me sick as a consumer that I was buying these things, right? So again, I can't sew. What can I do? I know technology. I can bring people together. I can create process improvement. I can find skilled workers who are able to produce not just clothes that fit, so there's less waste, right? You're not going to throw it away, but also engage with them in a business model that allows them to pay their people well. So our business model at Balodana is very unique. We're very transparent. I think I'm like the strangest person in fashion, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not very good at opaque things, so everything has to be very transparent. Our makers put their clothes on our website. They get 80% of the price tag. I get 20, period. It's that simple. It's clean. And that way they can pay their people better. They can reinvest, because for me to grow and scale, I need more makers who will continue to commit to this type of on-demand, highly efficient, highly personalized manufacturing. Everybody in the industry knows that it's the future, but no one's executing it right now. So I need to feed those people as much as I can. And yeah, that's what got me into it, was like my little social justice warrior, and also efficiency. Like, I can't stand inefficiency. I also can't stand human rights abuses. A typical day for me always looks chaotic. I mean, I can start out with a plan every day, and it's just going to be firefighting all day long. I'm a CEO, and we're a very small company. I have a team that's global, so I have contractors that work around the world. We have technology partners, and so my day looks like me staring at a computer, typing frantically, for about 8 hours most of the time, and occasionally cursing. I'll typically meet on Mondays with our marketing team. We set up what's going to happen this week. I'll sporadically talk with our tech people throughout the week to see if there are any issues that are coming up on the website. So we have a lot of technology moving and it breaks all the time. That's the way tech is. And then in between, I'm talking with customers and coordinating with our makers and making sure that things are being produced on time, dealing with any issues there. So it's a lot of blocking and tackling. And at the same time, I'm still trying to carve out enough space for me to do what they call like working on your business rather than in your business, which is really thinking about planning for our next wave of technology, doing fundraising. We're out there right now talking to investors. So a lot of the higher level stuff I still have to find time to work in. I have tried every tool on the planet to organize me. I really have. I even hire, I have what's called a boss as a service. So I hire someone to micromanage me. That is the best thing that I've ever done because it helps me bring my priorities to the surface when I get lost in the weeds. But other than that, I don't have any fancy stuff. We've tried, we use Slack a lot and that's just, communication, but we also stack some things in there. But there are a lot of project management tools we've tried. We've tried Kanban charts, Gantt charts, all kinds of things. They don't really work for the way my brain works because I'm more of a know where you're going and work backwards from there as opposed to a linear process. But having a spreadsheet, I do have a Google Sheet setting up with like my priorities. I communicate those to my boss and she nags me through WhatsApp on a daily basis. When you're an entrepreneur, there is no such thing as work-life balance. I guess I'm probably lucky-ish that I don't have family commitments. I have a partner, but I don't have to deal with kids and a lot of extra pressures on me. So my work is my life a lot of the times. That being said, weekends for me are semi-sacred. That is the time I decompress. I try to do very minimal other than just communication support for the business. Let other people take care of it, spend time with my partner, do things that are fun, and I do have a very strong commitment to my spiritual practice, so I make time for that. It helps put me, back on this planet. I would say I also spend time, like Fridays, I usually carve out time on Fridays to do networking, to meet people, to do academic pursuits. So I have an ad hoc working group of people like me, but also different skill sets all over the world. And every couple of weeks, we get together and we've been tackling huge projects together that are technology and fashion and standards and a lot of things like that. So that's really fun to be part of that academic environment. For somebody who took 9 years to get an undergraduate degree, working, to be able to, and I'm sorry my mom passed because now I can't show her that I actually have like a published academic paper, which is really funny to me because I truly despised school. This industry is more complex than I ever imagined, and it's more complex than any other industry I've ever seen. And I've worked, because when I was doing technology, we're doing web development and creating custom software. So I have worked with so many business models, so many type of operations that we were trying to create systems for and technology for. This is unlike anything, right? So it's very humbling to a disruptor like me. So I consider myself a disruptor. I like to go in to systems and shake things up. This is an industry that wants to be disrupted, but we're working with, processes and people and standards that are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. So breaking that entrenchment, to the thing that I've learned is that be humble, don't come in and act like you know everything, because you don't. You're gonna learn real quick that everything that you thought you could do, you cannot. Ask questions, be humble, ask questions, and make alliances, build bridges. I'm having to build way more bridges than I ever thought. And I mean bridges in terms of the communications, how do we talk to each other? How do we plan processes together? How do I create technology to make the whole thing easier? So building bridges from old to new, you can't just go in and tell a designer, yeah, you need to get really good at 3D designing, because that's not what they do. I mean, in many cases, some do, right? But you can't just assume that art and technology are going to want to blend beautifully. There will always be people around the edges, And what I learned very quickly is that I need to find those edge people first, make alliances, make tools, make processes, and then we can start pulling more people in and making it easier. So yeah, it's been a wild ride over the last 6 years.